There we go.
Boom. We're recording. We're about to go live.
Oh, we're not live yet?
Not yet.
We're still
I had a
recording.
little password issue here.
Were you doing the PW before the 393, whatever?
What?
I think he just gave us his passwords.
No, when you sent it over, you sent the password over and it was like PW
Oh,
399. So I'm trying the PW and I'm like, oh, wait, that's just password.
No, it signed us out on the Facebook browser deal here. All right, here we go. Sharing a page. Clapped out.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. We're about to be rolling here live. What is this? Number 12, right? Yeah.
13,
Is it?
I think.
Oh, yeah, it is 13 because I didn't post 12 yet on YouTube.
You'll wait till after I post a good video and then follow it up with that.
Kind of my thing.
I know. I'm well aware.
Oh, you need to do a video. I just posted the podcast. Okay. Clapped out.
We need an intro song to play as we go live on Facebook. I feel like we're lacking in the song department.
We do.
We need a theme song.
And here we go. Reach more people. Add a title. Dude, I did add a
Oh, he's getting flustered.
freaking title. Yeah, Nads.
Don't cuss. Don't cuss.
I called them Nads. We're good. Okay. Now, wait. 3, 2.
It says live. Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
Okay.
We're in there.
Are we live on your personal page or clapped out?
No, I caught that. I just didn't say anything about it earlier.
Oh my God.
I almost
You
did it again.
are live with Clapped Out, episode 13, lucky number 13. We have Mr. Joshua Kalis in the building. We have Rybert Klemp in the building. And you have myself, Lagonzo, in the building. This is episode, what was it, 13?
13.
I think I just said that, didn't I?
You did.
That's where my brain is nowadays.
Holla if you swallow.
Why do I feel like that was a bumper sticker on your car at some point?
We should sell those like prank bumper stickers.
I started designing the 2 honkin' shirts today.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, I had to work because I couldn't do it. I couldn't get them done.
2 honks and I'm gone.
No, we were on a podcast. We were talking about 2 honking someone's ass.
Yeah,
it was, I think Josh brought it up.
Yeah, Frank. It was a
Yeah.
Frank.
2 honking her ass.
You leave on 2 honks and you got Frank.
Beep, beep, God, every time. No, it was a double honk. It's the second 2 honks were just real close together.
Yeah, it's like leaving on yellow at the track. It's the same thing.
Leaving on yellow?
Yeller.
Every time, dude. A little southern comes out of your voice there.
A little bit. I've been here for a minute now.
Now let me tell y'all about leaving on yellow.
Hey, Josh, what's up? When are we going to get Yellow Wolf to make us a clapped out song? You promised that to us 2 years ago.
It was a very, very serious promise that was made.
You said I promised it?
Oh, yeah. You
Yes.
probably don't remember it.
Yeah, you definitely did. You were crazy drunk at the time.
Yeah, you know how much you drink, so. It's like, I think I've seen this man have a lemonade once. The rest is. I guess Starbucks doesn't count as getting drunk.
Okay, so that's a no. By silence, I'm taking that as a no.
He's just like, I'm not committing to anything on this podcast. Today is the day. We have a list of things to go over, and I think that the dynamic we have betwixt us three will be interesting. I already previewed this first topic to Josh on the phone, and his laughter said it all. We have four topics of discussion, and each one, you know the drill. We will riff back and forth, up and down.
Yep.
And I don't know how closely anyone has paid attention to Facebook this last week. Obviously, I live on social media, so I was pretty knee deep this weekend into some of these posts that I came across. And one of the posts I came across was in the beginning stages of virality. When you see something and it's just like, oh my God, that thing is about to pop off, and you get in it when it's young, like a bottle rocket, and then it just disappears from sight. So you know that
the old dirty delete.
Well, I don't know. I think we can discuss whether this was a dirty delete.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very good point to bring up, actually. And what I was going to start off with, and I hope I upset a bunch of people over this. I don't really care if I do or don't, because, you know, this is America, land of the free, home of the idiots with a podcast. There was a post that was put out by US 131 Motorsports Park, or Dragway. I don't know what you call it. US 131 Motorsports Park is what it's called. Just to keep things chill, I don't know that I want to name names here. I don't care either way. It's been resolved as far as I know. But I want to know how you would handle this, Josh, and how you would handle this, Rye, in the position of the offender and the offendee.
Yeah.
So there's a post that was put up, and it said, having been in the business for 40 years, I have never experienced this before. Racer X is what I'll call him, chose to dump his raw sewage in our pits. For those of you who have been here, know that we take great pride in maintaining the beautiful grounds here at US 131, and we are appalled at the disrespect and lack of common decency. We treat this as our home. Many of our racers and spectators do. We take great offense that a person would choose to disrespect our home in such a disgusting and illegal way. Track operators, be aware of this person. The pictures that you see speak volumes of his character and those around him who may have participated in this. We appreciate the blah, blah, blah series for coming this past weekend, and we look forward to seeing you again. We will not let one group distract us from having a great show, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the post that was put up on Facebook. And in that post, there was pictures of the pits, and the pits were just washed down with no exaggeration, just raw sewage. I mean, full-size turds floating around.
So I think you got to back up and explain.
I know
what exactly went down.
Yeah, well, I'm going to, but first I want to read that post because I want to do this in the order that it was unveiled on social media.
Okay.
The principle there is like how would you have handled this?
Yeah.
So that gets posted on Facebook. So let me get this muted out. So that gets posted on Facebook, and I catch it right as it's posted, and I'm like, oh my God, because the pictures are disgusting.
Yeah,
and immediately my mind goes towards, dude, this dude must hate the hell out of 131. You know,
what a dick. Yeah.
There's got to be drama there. Manja, give me the shit. Like, I need to know what happened, you know? Like every other lemming on Facebook, I have to know what happened. So I double back to the post, and I start searching through the post to look to see if the racer has responded to the post, because it's blowing up 200 shares, 300 shares, 400 shares. And the racer responds to the post. And the racer's response explains why this occurred. The racer goes on to say, first of all, I would have appreciated a phone call before you blasted me on social media. The real story is when we went into our RV to go to bed, the toilet hat stuck open and kept flushing on its own for hours. This caused severe flooding and damage to the carpets and furniture. I did have to crack the black water for a brief second to lower the level of sewage in the RV. It was an emergency situation, and by no means did I dump my entire RV in your parking lot. I had 6 kids that had to sleep in that mess. I am very sorry for the mess, but like I said, it was an emergency situation. I would be glad to pay for any cleaning fees involved, and I would appreciate you taking down this post. So, post goes up. He responds. About 20 minutes after that response, I think the post was deleted. My question to you guys, right now you are, let's say you're the racer. You're in the racer's shoes. How would you have handled that situation?
Very simple. Get out. As somebody who has owned an RV, I've had a camper trailer with black and gray water and all this stuff. And I've dealt with situations of, let's say, excessive
poop.
Yes, poop, over the top capacity, and like over accommodating. When you say 6 kids right there, that's a lot of poop. And a lot of poop from a lot of kids that probably think that using an RV toilet is the same as using the toilet at your house. It's not the same. Okay. I've had to use sticks and other apparatuses to push the pile down into the toilet. It's not fun for anybody involved. Now I get that, like, maybe the toilet, I bet what this has probably happened. Kid flushed the toilet and the lever stuck and it kept filling it with water. and then all of a sudden you got a situation on your hands. Your freshwater tank 90% of the time is greater than the blackwater tank. So if you got 100 gallons of fresh water, but only the ability to hold 60 gallons of shit water, well, then you're going to have a problem when that thing sticks. That's probably what he's dealing with.
Time out.
Go ahead.
I just want to know. All right, you and me are in our RV full of shit. Josh is sleeping in the upper bunk bed. He has purposefully clogged the toilet because he's just a little devious guy.
Right.
The shit water's overflowing. How does Rye Klemp handle the shit water situation with the track?
I'm going to agree with what he did. I'm going to run outside. I'm going to pull the blackwater handle and start dumping immediately. But caveat to that, I'm not done.
What?
Then I'm going to haul ass to the track manager, talk to him, be like, dude, I have a serious shitty situation here and I need somewhere to dump this. Where can I dump it? Do you have a dump station here on the premises? If not, I apologize, but
there's poop everywhere.
Yeah, you might want to get a fire truck out here as soon as possible. I'm going to tell him. I'm not just going to break out and leave and not say anything and wait until it appears on social media. That's trash.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah.
How does Josh handle the poop water situation in his RV?
Well, I'm not too educated on how like Rye is with all the shit. But I think what I would do is I would probably just turn the water off and then I would drive my flooded with shit RV to some spot outside of the track and then I'd fucking let it go. Like I don't think I would.
You got to imagine what this dude's going through. If he's saying if it's the way I envision, it's sloshing back and forth on the floors at this point.
Yo, all I know is picturing Josh manning the helm of a shit water-filled RV is something I need to see before I die.
He hits the brakes too hard. He's picking his feet up like, oh!
All over him. No!
Yeah, but wait, where is it flooding from? Because it draining it, if you drain it, it's still going to be flooded, right? Inside the RV, you're not draining. You're not like
right, but
not like a hatch in the floor.
Basically, it was a never-ending toilet overflowing. Is what
right? But can't you just turn the water off? There's got to be.
You can turn the water off, and then basically all he would have to do is just dump enough to get the water below the level of the toilet, the bottom of the toilet, and then he'd be good.
So somebody did respond to the post, and exactly what Josh is saying is what they responded as. They said something to the effect of, I would never have done that. I would have gone and turned off the main water valve, blah, 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 blah. Why wouldn't you do that before just dumping black water? And I have no idea. Here's the thing. If I owned an RV, I would 100% learn every facet of operating the thing like a home. You know, so when you got shit water piling up, cool, cut the main valve off. And go from there. I don't know the ins and the outs of one though either.
So you got 2 tanks. Well, okay, 3 tanks. You got your freshwater tank, you got a black water and a gray water.
You can cut the main water feed off, right?
Yes, you can. But what happened with him, I'm assuming, is that the lever to flush the toilet stuck and it just kept pouring water into the toilet, which goes into the black water, which only
could you not cut the main water off to stop that from filling?
You can, but at that point, what I'm saying is that the damage is already done by the time he probably came back in after a pass or whatever and realized like, oh, there is black water, aka shit water, all over the floor. What I'm saying is that the amount that was in that picture, he probably did not have to dump that much. I agree that he had to dump some. He could dump like 5-6 gallons to get it to clear the bowl of the toilet and get it below the level of the floor. And he would have been fine. And you could have driven it to a dump station. What he dumped was definitely excessive. Because you have a gray water. So we talked about this before. And it was one of the best shit talk moments I've ever had. Me and Lyle Barnett were going back and forth talking a little bit of shit about LS Fest.
Oh, I like Lyle. Lyle's a good guy.
And Lyle goes, keep talking shit and I'm going to come and dump my gray water in your pit. So gray water is like the shower and the sink, but it was such a weird flex that I was like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's a good flex.
You're going to pull it. I don't have an RV. Are you flexing on me because you have an RV or because like you're that confident in your ability? You're just going to dump your dirty shower water like under my car.
I'm gonna start saving up my shower water and bring it to the track with me, just in buckets.
Just bottle it.
Oh, cool.
Ship
That's
it
cool.
to people.
Well, the post, like I said, blew up real quick. A lot of people were jumping on it and sharing it like crazy. I only saw it and I knew I had to talk about it because, I mean, I'm just gonna hold the phone up to the camera here. This is disgusting. It's so gross.
I can't. Yeah, I wish I could pull the picture. I tried to earlier.
It's so bad. I gotta find it. It's literally disgusting. I apologize for the poor quality here. Again, is it focusing at all?
Yeah, pull it back just a little bit. What you're looking at is
Wait,
just
quit talking, Rye, because every time you talk, the picture goes away. Logan, you talk real quick so I can see it.
Onomatopoeia. A, B, C, D, poop water all over my screen. Look at that.
Oh, damn. Oh, it's on the asphalt even?
yeah.
It's everywhere.
So if you're listening to the if you're listening to the audio version of this, what you're looking at is probably 3 days and 9 people worth of poops and peas strewn across a parking lot.
Now,
Okay.
I'll double back though. I will give him credit where credit's due. Other than the fact that I don't know if he attempted to contact staff before he left. Like the post turned into a big back and forth, but his response being like, "I'll pay for every damage, all the damage. I don't care. I'll pay for all of it. Very sorry." I mean, after the fact, I don't know what else you can do. The other thing is a couple members of their team were in the post saying, "We have been trying to call the track all day to no answer," which again, doesn't make it right, but at least if they really were being proactive, I guess that's cool. But
yeah, and any track you go to, like, you guys know, there's not somebody manning the office phone at the track 24 hours a day.
Yeah, but big deal. Dig a hole, get a power washer, spray that shit down into the hole, put the dirt back on it, you're done.
Yeah.
Probably grow some nice vegetables on top of that too.
I still would have been way more proactive. That's all I'm saying. Is just,
it's so gross. Anyway, that's enough poop talk. That was the kickoff to this wonderful, wonderful episode. And just to clarify, I'm not like bashing the racer. I'm sure a bunch of people know who that was. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I just needed material for the show. So sue me, or don't sue me, please. Actually, sue us for an LLC. We're worth $300.
Yeah,
bring it on. And it's also owned purely by Rye, so make sure you only sue him.
Hey, we've been through this once with the GAP.
Out, yeah,
capped out. Let's do it.
I don't know if we can say their name publicly.
I'm not afraid of them.
Moving along to a second topic, then this has to do another stand-up situation, somebody that was opposite, that was being a stand-up person ahead of time. I saw this post go up, and it has not gotten any virality. It's not like it's a big share deal. I have never heard of this shop before seeing this post. The only reason I want to bring this to light is because I think it's absolutely how chassis shops and shops in general should behave and act. Topic here is a company called West Racing Fabrication. I do not know anything about them, so take this with a grain of salt. I did call one of the owners before we went live today to tell him I wanted to talk about this, and he was extremely nice. His name is Joe. Him and his father run this racing fab shop. They do drag car stuff and chassis builds of all types. And it's him and his dad. They're both Army veterans. And I told him, "Hey, man, I saw your post on Facebook. Are you cool with me talking about it?" He goes, "Yeah, absolutely. Go for it." So here is the post that went up, and I think it's awesome. 3 days ago. And again, this is not a viral. It's got 6 shares and 11 likes, but I thought it needed to be brought to the light. This is awesome. West Racing Fabrication. So, time to fess up. I made a mistake. I know, seems impossible, right? I skipped a step on the Comet project, and I didn't use my calipers. After plenty of cut, bend, fit, and weld, I noticed a piece of tubing I pulled out of the rack seemed thin. Well, it was by 5/1000ths of an inch. Without knowing for sure, he didn't exaggerate the 5/1000ths. I did, because it's like insanely. I mean, it's whatever, doesn't matter. That's nothing. But in racing, it could be everything. So, without knowing for sure which tubes already on the chassis may be under spec, I was not about to take a chance. I have never had a build fail tech ever, and I'm not about to start now. I got a hold of the owner and explained the issue, and after some discussion, the decision was made for an upgrade to chromoly. After some serious research on manufacturers, blah, 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 This guy, after literally getting to almost the finish line of this chassis, cut the entire chassis back out and started from scratch because of a 5/1000th too thin bar he pulled out of his stock inventory. And he assumed all costs, and he did it all on him. And he said, I don't care. This is my name. This is the safety of the people involved in this car. And I want to put a stamp of approval on it. And I can't do that in good conscience now. How many shops, Josh and Rye, how many shops do you think would have done the same thing? 5/1000ths.
100%. He is the minority, for sure. Like, Josh, you're muted. He's
all the bars were 5/1000ths.
No, he didn't. He had no clue. He just decided to cut them all out as a result of finding one bar that he pulled being too thin by 5/1000ths.
That's just a stand-up dude. Like, and that's a rarity in this industry. I've gotten gypped hardcore. So my car behind me right now has had 3 cages inside of the thing, 2 of which I did. The one that's in there right now is the one that I did. The first one was, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I had no clue. And I've read the NHRA rule book like front to back, and what he probably was dealing with is a situation where when you start to bend the tubing, when you're on the outside of that bend, the tube starts to get substantially thinner. So
No. He pulled a fresh tube off the shelf.
Oh, the tube off the shelf is the
he grabbed one off the shelf. And he was like, "This looks," and he mic'd it, and it was 5/1000 too thin. The wall.
Yeah. I think I'd have just put some skim coat over all the bars and painted it, and that skim coat would have made up for the 5/1000, and the bars would have been nice and smooth. And
you can tell who's never had a cage inspected before.
But you look at Josh's cage, and he's got a hell of a cage in his car.
Now, I remember doing 180 plus in that thing with the 4-point, like an idiot. But then I had kids, so.
God.
No, I'm props to that dude. That's a stand-up thing to do. Like, most shops would not do that. They'd just be like, let's roll the dice. Plus, I guarantee you, in the NHRA inspector rule book, I don't know, maybe somebody in here knows in the comment section. I feel like there has to be a plus or minus some thousandths of an inch.
I don't know, man.
Of leeway, because so I know if you have a mild seal cage, the minimum wall thickness is 120 thousandths. But when you buy a mild seal cage, most companies, S&W, Raceworks, or Wolf Racecraft, whoever, if you buy a mild seal cage, they're going to sell you 134 wall tubing because they know it gets thin in the bends. It's not the straight pieces that you got to worry about. It's in the bend. And I'm not a chassis guy. I'm not a fabricator. I'm too fucking tall to start folding myself into cars and trying to figure out how to weld shit. I figured that out not long ago. But if you start with the minimum wall thickness, you're going to end up with a less than minimal wall thickness, especially when you start doing bends on stuff. So I wonder if I don't know. Maybe that was a ordered the wrong tubing, or is it error in the manufacturing of the tubing? But either way, that's super awesome that the dude was.
He goes into more detail in terms of the tubing, I think, supplier and stuff. I don't want to make it seem like he's getting junk metal or anything. I don't know the ins and the outs.
Yeah.
My focal point for me personally was, dude, God dang, the amount of time, labor, money, and material. Like, he threw it in the trash and said, "I don't care." Like,
what kind of cage was it?
I'd be lying if I told you.
Imagine he cut so he took the cage out, and then he cut pieces of the cage up and then mic'd those, and they were all like perfect size.
You'd be pissed. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I know there's ways to sonic test them, and that's what an NHRA tech inspector will do. They'll sonic test. They can, without having to drill a hole in your cage, they can test how thick the wall of the tubing is before they slap the sticker on the thing.
Can we do that with the thickness of your skull, Rye?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, man. Will the machine just break when we go to test it?
Oh, you're toaster. Oh, nice cage, dum-dum. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know if we don't actually rise to the point now where he doesn't even have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
It would probably do more harm than good if you put one on. I did. I just thought that was cool as hell because it's rare. It's a rarity in today's performance world to see people that stand up as
Absolutely.
And not a ton of in depth on that one. I just brought it to light. I thought it was cool. We've always been big about shouting people out that are smaller business that we think are doing cool stuff, and just calling him to talk to him about being able to put this on the podcast was a unique experience. It was. I felt like a real journalist. I felt like a journalist, guys.
Breaking news.
How you doing? This is Logan Clapped Out. He's like, who? I'm Clapped Out. He's like, what? I'm like, Clapped Out. He's like, I have never heard of you. So there's that. But next up, I have moving along.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Logan.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, knew that was coming.
She is Daddy's little angel. If you're wondering and you're listening to the podcast, Josh's daughter just came into the podcast and gave us a peace sign and a thumbs up and said we're doing great.
Yes.
We got the next topic of discussion is going to be one that I posted up the other day, and I got a couple people that all riled up because of it. I love that. Chinese parts. Chinese parts. What do you trust and what do you not trust if it's coming from overseas? So specifically on your car ride, what do you have that's from China?
How much time you got, buddy?
So, all right, let's condense this to categories. So Chinese parts.
Okay, so it's, man, this is a weird one for me. The Chinese parts have come such a long way, and I feel like I'm defending them, and I don't want to defend them, especially with the new partnership that we just kind of struck with our buddy Robert Young. And I mean, excuse me. Okay, so if you have an Eagle crank, if you have scat rods, there's a plethora of parts out there. Eagle rods, like, newsflash, those are probably not cast or made in the United States. There's so much stuff out there that I think a lot of people don't realize that is actually not made here in America. So things that I'm willing to take are whatever doesn't cause, I want to say, like, whatever doesn't cause a catastrophic failure, but that would be a lie as well. Like, I guess I kind of sit back in the works in the cut and just wait for, like, everybody else to test this stuff out before I jump on it. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. I posted up the new BTR intake manifold, and I was like, made in America by Americans with American material, designed in America, 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 America.
Yeah.
And a few people, I got a couple messages from people just saying some people can't afford blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool, the BTR intake is cheaper than this intake, this intake, this intake, and this intake. So
yeah,
next excuse. Anyway, I'm a hypocrite for posting that. And I like to own my mistakes and when I'm a piece of shit. And I'm a hypocrite for posting that because I have several. I just read Estella's comment, and it's funny to me in the comments if you saw it.
My wife was made in Mexico, so yes, I do.
That's awesome. Rye loves foreign-made pieces was the comment, if you were wondering. But I'm a hypocrite for that because I have Chinese parts on the RX-7. I have Chinese parts on the 240SX.
I mean, pretty much every car that you've built in the past couple of years.
I said Chinese parts. But here's the grim reality on Chinese parts without giving away vendor names or manufacturer names or anything like that. You can track imports and exports to the United States, and you can see who's bringing what into where, and without explaining in detail on how to do that. Pretty much any connecting rod that you find for a V8 that is, like, let's say $600 to $900. Okay.
Yes.
Any crankshaft that you find for a V8 that is, oh wow, I can get one for $900. Just those two examples alone, cranks and rods.
Yeah, $1,000 or less on a crank, $1,000 or less on rods. Chances are they're not made in this country.
99.9% sure they're Chinese,
and they're probably made all in the same foundry. It's just what day they laser etched them.
So K1 rods. K1 rods are not made in the States. They're made overseas. I'm just made in China, right? K1 rods have seen 1,000 wheel, 1,100 wheel, 1,200 wheel. But Josh, what crank do you have? I think Josh is muted. Can you unmute him? What crankshaft do you have in the Camaro?
It's Eagle.
Yep.
So I'm not sure about Eagle.
Eagle is too.
Okay. And that thing has
now take it with a grain of salt. I'm assuming I've heard from multiple people Eagle is an overseas foundry.
Yeah. So, and whether or not they're overseas and they're machined stateside, maybe, but at the same time, you're talking about components that are made overseas. They're brought to the States, and the question here is, what do you trust from China? And at some point, and I don't know when this happens, but at some point, talking down about Chinese parts, at what point does that become almost racist? Like, I'm just being honest. Like, there's some people in our industry that are like, I don't trust that Chinese trash, Chinese junk, Chinese trash, Chinese junk, ching chong, Chinese junk. And it's like, dude, at what point? And I know.
Don't open the box for 14 days or else you might get the Wuhan.
You won't get the Wuhan. Like, I get it. But it does this follow-up question. At what point does it like become racially charged and just chill, dude?
I don't think that's not racial. That's like,
I don't think you've.
How is that racial?
I don't think you've seen the stuff that we have seen. Like,
there's some stuff that gets posted where you're like, oh my God.
You're like, Jesus, dude, it's just car parts. Like, so okay, I'm gonna.
And I don't want to give specific examples because I feel dirty saying some of the things I've read. Like, it's like
I'm not gonna either, but I want to back this all up. Like, I will say this: I would love to support American companies every chance that I get, but that is not going to stop me from building a car and going fast. Like, if I can't afford your American crank rods and pistons, whatever. Like,
you need to mow more lawns and save money.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not going to not build my car. I'm going to go out and bust everybody's ass that I can on the budget that I have available to me. So
the guy with the Chinese crank in his Camaro just told you to go mow. I can't say mow either. I'm trying to say mow. Murmur now. Mulan is live on Disney Plus.
Hey, my shit was assembled in the U.S.
There you go. Built in America.
Oh my God! Did you see the video Morris put up of his engine room the other day?
No.
I get to walk through that engine room whenever I want, dude.
God, dude, it's like 4,786,000 billet blocks that are ready to go together. It's insane. He's in a wind tunnel today.
It's no joke.
But no,
he's up there with Clark, right?
Yeah, I saw that, dude. I'm super jealous.
How far is it from you, right?
Is he in Charlotte?
I know he might be in Charlotte. Yeah.
So this is the thing with the wind tunnels. There's a bunch of them because Charlotte's like home of NASCAR. So there's a ton of wind tunnels over there. And I've heard through the grapevine talking to people, Eric Yost Biggin used to work in NASCAR, and he's told me stories about like how NASCAR teams are so petty. They will literally rent out a wind tunnel, pay for the time, not show up just to cock block another team from using that wind tunnel. So like, yeah, anyway, I don't know. That has nothing to do with Clark, however you say it, Rosenthal Griswold, wind tunnel testing his car. But I would love to get my car in a wind tunnel just to see what gains can be had.
We could always do.
That's just super interesting to me.
We could always do like Ford versus Ferrari and just put the little tags on there, and
that was a real thing, right?
Yeah.
That popped up over the weekend, and the wife and kids and I were watching it, and she was like, "What is all that all over the car?" And I explained to her, I'm like, "That's how they figured out what the air was doing before
the chalk or something. What is it?
They tape pieces of
all
over the car, make it look like it looks like the van from Dumb and Dumber, Mutt's Cuts." But
it's a good.
That was a real thing.
What's the read on those? I mean, if they're pressed down, that's good. If they're up,
if they're like standing up, that's where you got a wall of air, like kind of standing up, and you got to adjust stuff. I'm not an aerodynamics expert, but that was a real thing that they did. That movie is super historically accurate from what I understand. Other than the fact that I'm still trying to find the clip. I watched it like 3 times now. At some point, there is an LS cylinder head in that movie.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm trying to find
I
it.
saw it. Yeah, in the
I keep
background, sitting on a bench. Yeah.
I get so caught up in the theatrics in the actual movie that I forget to keep looking for it. But that's one of my favorite movies. Anyway, getting completely off track here with that. But
No, it's good. I like it. I think it's a good little riff-a-rooney. But
I love that movie. What's your favorite car movies? Let's go for it.
Dude, where's my car? Dude, where's my
Dude,
car?
Cannonball Run 1 and 2.
Cannonball Run, dude. Do you know that when Lamborghini came out with the Countach, the original Countach didn't have the big stupid wing on the back? And then when Cannonball Run came out, for the movie, they put the wing on it. And then people were hitting up Lamborghini after that movie came out saying, we want this wing. And Lamborghini was like, Jesus Christ, okay, fine. And they
Is there
started
truth to that?
absolutely 100%. And that's where the wing on the Lamborghini Countach, the later models. I don't know the year that it started, but
The front wing or the back wing?
not the wing, but the back wing.
Because the wing was in the first movie, but not in the second movie.
Yeah. No, but Lamborghini did not offer a wing like that on that car initially. And then when Cannonball Run came out, it came out like that. Lance McLaughlin wants to know how my neighbor's Mustang is doing. The blue car. Are you talking about the blue 03 Cobra or the blue Fox body? Because the blue Cobra has since been shipped to Cali, and she gone. So that car is out there. It's getting a cage put in the thing, and it's getting retuned by my buddy Ryan Cunningham. And that car will start heading to the track as well as half-mile airstrip events. If you're asking about the blue Fox body, we are taking that car to the track this Friday. I will be piloting that car probably for my neighbor down the 8th mile because they're in a damn cage in it. 03 Cobra, yeah. 03 Cobra is in California now, and he actually just had a kid, so race car stuff just got put on the back burner for him a little bit. But as soon as I got some updates on that thing, I'll be sure to post them up, and hopefully he'll send me some good video of that.
Did you guys know that the Lamborghini Countach, the rear wing, was actually completely non-functional also? There was zero benefit to the wing, and that wing was installed in the parking lot. The iconic rear wing was purely cosmetic. The Countach actually suffers front axle lift at high speed, and bolting a park bench out back only exacerbates the issue. You see how it took me a second to figure that word out? But
But it looks so much better with the wing.
It does.
customers loved the look. So engineers zeroed out the wing's angle, rendering it non-functional. Designed as a one-off for F1 Impresario. Why are you making hard words, guy? The spoiler wasn't an official option. Once it caught on, circa 1976, Lamborghini could not afford to rehomologate the car with a new aero appendage. As a workaround, completed cars were pulled off of the assembly line into the factory parking lot, where employees installed the rear wing using an electric hand drill while awaiting dealer transport. The job took about 10 minutes.
So that article says nothing about Cannonball Run?
No, nothing.
Oh, no credit, dude. I'm telling you.
Ironically enough, though, the Countach not one time ever saw the inside of a wind tunnel.
The Countach is like, I've heard on various radio shows and podcasts for people, have you ever heard like don't meet your heroes?
Yeah.
People that own Countaches say the same thing. They're like,
oh, they're trash. They're straight trash. They're garbage to drive.
Oh, have you driven one? Because you worked at Lamborghini.
They're terrible. I hated them. They're awful.
I would love to build a Countach, like a pro touring style one,
I think it would look dope, and it would be. I think they look cool, and they're nostalgic. But like the Diablos, the same way, they drive like straight up dog shit. I'll argue that point to the bone. I hated having to drive those cars.
Okay, Josh, Logan, you're a little younger than us, and maybe I'm wrong. Josh, did you ever have a poster of a Countach?
Of course.
So did I.
Yeah.
Logan?
Never. No, I had a Hanson poster. So Teen Beat was big for me back in the day.
What Lamborghini? So were you the Diablo kid? Was that your era?
No, the Diablo was, so I was 31. So when the Gallardo came out in 04, was it 04 or 03? 04.
Yeah.
Murcielago was still 03. So the Gallardo dropped in 04, and I was just getting into high school. and it was like a shell shock. I mean, it changed the game. Ferrari had their 360, and then the Gallardo, the Murcielago was still out. And then when I was working at Lamborghini Chicago, they dropped the Murcielago Super Veloce, which was like Jeremy Cliff, who's now at the time he was just getting into his career. Now he's a pretty prominent automotive photographer. He came down to shoot that SV, and that car was just absolutely insane to me. Yeah. The only other car that blew me away more than anything else was actually nothing impressive from a power standpoint, but the Valentino Balboni edition Lamborghini Gallardo LP570, I think they called it. Mm-hmm. So Valentino Balboni was the test driver for Lamborghini for like 40 years. So for 40 years, this dude was the test driver, and Lamborghini, I'm totally riffing on what happened, but Lamborghini was like, hey, Valentino, you're super dope and we love you. So we're just like, what do you want? Like, make your own Lamborghini and use the Gallardo chassis and just make it your own. And he's like, cool. I want a gated shifter, stick shift, and I want it to be rear wheel drive. And Lamborghini's like, damn, because like that's the opposite of all the shit we're doing right now. And he's like, yeah, I don't fucking care, make it happen. So I'm sure that's not how it went down, but they built the Valentino, you can look it up, the Balboni edition, and they shipped it to the States, and we unveiled the Balboni edition LP at Lamborghini Chicago with Valentino there. So, and it was super dope. Like, I got to sit there and talk to, I have nothing to talk to him about. He's got this crazy storied career in motorsports, and I'm a porter at a dealership. But he was just so down to earth and chill. And, you know, they unveil this car, and it's just insane to me. And the idea of him deciding to, for all purposes, take the technology out of the car to make it a stick-shifted rear-wheel drive application.
Right. Yeah, they're never going to make another stick-shift supercar, hypercar, any car ever again.
And you can go on like YouTube or anything and look up Balboni edition, and there's like it's honestly like gives you goosebumps when you watch it, because he explains why, his passion behind it, why he wanted to do this, and it's awesome, man. So if you guys have a free minute, the Balboni edition Lambo was awesome to see and be a part of that unveiling.
Okay, so that whole story is fantastic and amazing. Not trying to detract from it. But let's go Logan Tarrant before he was 10 years old. When you're a child, what was the car you were like, that's the sickest thing ever? Because for me, that was the Countach.
I was not into cars when I was that age. I didn't get into cars until I watched the first Fast and the Furious movie.
So you're I want a Type R, DSM, Supra.
I wanted an EG coupe, like the ones they use to rob the semis.
Yeah.
And I bought every import tuner magazine I could find, and I documented how much I had to make an hour if my mom would sign off on my ability to work before 16 years old. And I went through the Nopi catalogs, and I looked at how much horsepower per mod. So like an intake plus 20 horse, ground wire kit plus 6 horse. And I added up.
The ground wire kits are amazing. Like, I'm going to put 17 grounds on my motor, and it's going to pick up.
Dude, I swear to God, I would give anything to have these sheets. And I built my Civic, my dream EG Civic, and how much power it would make. And I was like, oh, I got to make $15,000. That will only take me 400 years at McDonald's working minimum wage. And
you can't tell, right? I mean, CRX, 240s, RX-7s. I mean,
okay, hold on. Because Josh, what was the first car that you bought when you turned pro?
Yeah, it's not curiosity, Josh.
When I turned pro?
Yes.
Honda Accord.
Yeah, sick.
There you go.
Boom, baby.
But that was way before Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but y'all are Honda boys for life, is all I'm saying.
It was.
Well, yeah, there was some Hondas. And then I went BMW. Then I was BMW big time.
You know what the first car I bought is? It's sitting right behind me.
Oh.
Still. Ride or die, motherfuckers.
We did. It's funny because a lot of people like to walk away from the fact that Fast and the Furious helped them get into cars. I embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, dude. It came out in 2001, right?
2000, I think. 99 or
late 2000, early 2001. I was 19 years old when that came out, and you can't say
it was released June 22nd, 2001.
It did a lot of negative stuff, but it also brought a lot of positives to the car world. Now it's
I was in Philly street racing at the time. we went and watched it and thought it was the corniest, cheesiest, just
Yeah.
shit
Right.
was just terrible. But,
So you guys might remember this too. I don't know if you do or don't, but so let's wind the clocks back. 2001, I was, oh my God, 12 years old. So I was 12 years old. This movie dropped. Don't interrupt me, Rye. I can tell you're about to. 2001, I was 12 years old. This movie just dropped. I didn't know cars at all, and that movie had me so like I want to wrench. As a kid, I would take stuff apart and put it back together. The microwave, the oven, every lamp in the house. I love to tinker with stuff. And then that movie dropped, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to build a car. And then when I got old enough, I bought a Civic and I swapped it, and it was the start of everything for me. At the same time, do you guys, maybe you do, maybe you don't, MTV True Life, that show?
Yeah.
Do you recall MTV True Life, I Am a Street Racer? Did you ever see this?
Was it the one where there was like a Mazda protege?
Dude, I swear to God, MTV True Life, I'm a Street Racer had me like, oh my God.
Was that the
And
car?
now I watch it now and I'm like, it was people in bolt-ons, DSMs racing. Like it was just the slowest junk.
I remember.
And it was so enthralling.
It was like
oh my God.
I remember watching something and I was like, Dad, we have to watch this. And it was like some dude with like a 14-second Mazda 323 or something like that. It was the worst. And
It was
that
so
the,
good.
That was the Gran Turismo era. And that was when I was like, this car hauls ass in Gran Turismo. Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. And oh man. So I didn't get my driver's license until I was 18 because I never had a car to drive. And I used to convince all my friends to come over to the house and we would like rip all the car seats out except for one. I would steal couch cushions. We would ride to the track. My buddy Ryan Jensen in his 91 Mazda Protege. I would ride in the back, laying on a couch cushion. We cut the muffler off of this thing, go to the track, try to drive as fast as we could, and then drive it back to my house. This is on Wednesday night test and tune. Put the seats back in it, put the muffler back on it somehow, and like make it so his parents never knew that like we tampered with the car. That was
it's insane to me. And this is kind of I'm gonna go full circle on this. When we first, all of us, when we first got into cars and we first had the feeling of, oh my God, like this is it. This is so much fun. You know, when you first, I mean, I'm sure Josh, when you bought your first, even the Honda Accord, or when you bought your first M5, like Rye, when you built your first car, it's like heroin. Not that I've ever done heroin. God, I hope that doesn't come across like that. But chasing the tail of the dragon, like,
yeah.
You know, you can't, I won't ever be able to replace I don't know which air freshener it is. It's probably new car scent, but every time I smell it, it reminds me of the first car I built because it was packed with those air fresheners, and it gives me that feeling of, man, I remember going to Stern Road and drag race, street racing. Like it was something that I'll never, ever be able to replace. And a big part, just roll this back. One of the biggest parts I'm going back to simple on the RX-7 is because I want to get back to that. I want to get back to enjoying it more than I am just thrashing my ass off and not having fun with it. I look at Josh and your Camaro and how much you drive that thing in the street and beat it up and race it. And it sucks because I haven't been able to do that with my own shit. And Rye, I look at your SN95 and you take it on drag week and you're still slower than me, but it's whatever. And and I look at that and I'm like, man, but he's driving his car. I miss fucking driving my car, man. I miss getting in the cockpit, turning the key and taking off. It was that mentality and that aura I don't think you could ever replace from back when we first got into this.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And it's funny you mentioned the air freshener thing. For me, it was, do you remember the JDM Squash air fresheners?
I have one in the RX-7 right now.
They smell so good.
Yep.
So good. I need to get some more of those. I forgot about those. My wife was like, those things smell terrible. I'm like,
no,
get out of my car. Yeah. Exactly.
Get out, dude.
And she used to sell Scentsy. And I'm like, you sell melting waxes. These things smell amazing.
What a hypocrite. So
no,
the night the Fast and Furious movie came out, I think they stole 30 cars from the car park in Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
Yeah, everyone drove their shit to the movie, you know, and when they came out, it was just empty.
That's a pretty safe bet.
You know what though?
You know they're going to go for 2 hours.
Well, back in the day in Philly, the car thieves used to run, those 10-second tow trucks are?
Yeah. Back
I
up.
mean,
lick
you
'em
don't
up.
even get out. You just back up and get them. And, yeah, a bunch of thieves had those in Philly for a while. So they just, they stole. I mean, even not that night, but my Accord got stolen too.
Damn.
Philly was all about. And I was supposed to drive to Michigan in a couple of days for Thanksgiving, and I went outside, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Where did I leave this thing?
I've never had a car stolen. I can't imagine how dude, where's my car is that?
Dude, I had a roommate that had his car repoed, so it was kind of my fault. Well, it was his fault for not paying for it, but so it actually, this comes around full circle because he was the guy that was making our stickers there for a hot minute. So he had a 03 Cobra, and he would be like, yo, I need to park the car in the backyard in the shop. I'm like, all right, cool. And it never really clicked because it was coming around like every month because he was always behind by a month. He'd make the payment and they kind of like ease off of it for a couple of weeks. And then we were working nights. And I remember at the time I had a Lexus IS 300 and I was parked directly behind him. His car was up against the garage. My car was behind his. And so we would wake up, me and him both work at the same place. And we wake up at like 12:30, go outside. I'm like brushing my teeth, shaving my face, getting ready for work or whatever. And he walks outside and he utters the words, dude, where's my car? And I was like, I thought he was like kidding. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, where's my car? It was right here. Where's my car? And I walk outside, toothbrush in my mouth, and almost spit toothpaste everywhere, laughing because they snatched the car out and drug it across the yard, down the curb. It doesn't translate well to audio, but the diagram, if I could paint this picture for you, it was whoever this repo guy was extremely talented. And rewind 2 weeks, he went out of town and I took his car out. I said, yo, can I take my buddy for a ride in this thing and show it to him? It was an 03 Cobra. We put a solid axle in it, upper pulley. It was like a bottom 11-second car. I left the gas station and just snatched it into second gear and went sideways across like 3 lanes. And a cop saw me do it, pulled me over. I got a ticket for careless and reckless. And I convinced the cop to let me drive the car back to the house. But because the car was in his name, finally it popped up on the radar, and the repo company finally figured out where this kid's been hiding this whole time. So because I got a ticket, his car got repoed. But anyway, long story short,
You're a terrible person.
I am a terrible person. If your car gets that was the other thing. He went to go and look at the car and get like his personal belongings out of it after he figured out it got repoed. And this shop had like these literal junkyard dogs that were running through the yard, and they ran all over the top of every car in that place. Destroyed and totaled this car. So,
I had it coming. It's not like he was going to pay for the damn thing anyway, the vagrant.
No, hell no.
Now, there's a terrible segue. I feel like a stand-up comic that's never been on stage before. How about that new Nissan?
Oh, I forgot we were talking about that.
So, final topic of the show. Nissan.
Can I get my
Nissan
puke bucket first?
Nissan has basically they have delayed the release of the new Z car. So for a lot of our listeners that aren't into the import side of things, or they haven't paid attention to Nissan this past couple of years, Nissan has released a VR30 platform, which is loosely based on the GTR engine. It's a 3-liter twin turbo engine. I say loosely based because it's not even close to a VR38, but it is the VR engine series VR30. So the VR30 comes in the Q50s and the Q60s. Made after 2016. You can make 450 horse and like 500 pound-feet of torque in these things in stock turbo fashion, stock turbo form with good bolt-ons, good tune. The cars have a bunch of small issues. The engines, the power plants have a bunch of small issues, but otherwise they're pretty decent setups, even though mine's been at the dealership for a month. So Nissan has decided to revamp the Z car. And they have come out with they haven't named it. It's called the Proto right now, the Proto Z, Proto Concept 400Z. And they've been taking little notes from each version of the Z. If you could stop clicking for a second and leave it on one ride, that'd be really awesome. They have been taking like little monikers from all the Z cars over the years. The headlights style-ish, the rear quarter emblem, the rear end of the car looks like a 300ZX. The front nose of the car looks like the old 280, 260, 240Z. They have taken cues from all of these different chassis, and they have designed the proto. Originally, it was supposed to get released in 2021. I think they pushed it back to 2022 or 2023. The car got released digitally in a prototype unveiling last evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the color they chose to unveil it as is straight up hideous. It's like this yellow.
Yes.
It's like I drank with my brothers, and I just got hammered all night. And then I didn't drink any water for a week. And then I pissed almost brown yellow.
That's I took a multivitamin, chug 2 monsters piss.
That's the name, actually, of the yellow. Multivitamin double monster piss yellow.
House of Colors, if you're listening, get with us about that.
So they have chosen a hideous color to represent this car, in my personal opinion. The Z community is like, I have never seen a more divided community. It's like when the Supra got released.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like Nissan did to the Z what Toyota did to the Supra, which,
Except they put a stick shift in it.
I think,
Nissan.
Oh, so it does have a stick.
It is a 3-pedal, twin-turbo V6. They have not said it's a VR30. The reason I mentioned VR30 is because a lot of people were guessing that it was going to be a VR30 power plant. They haven't released that info yet. The huge curveball would be if Nissan came out and said, no, this is the VR38. Or if they go by the 400Z moniker, it has to be a 4-liter.
Yeah.
Because what is a 300ZX? 3-liter. What is a 350Z? 3.5. 370Z? 3.7. What's next? 400Z, if that's what they name it. So a 4-liter twin turbo stick shift sports car. If that's what happens, then I'll have to learn to find a body kit I like.
Kyle Hunt brings up a very good point. Is it going to be as annoying as all the other G35 straight pipe cars?
It's crazy because
who's going to be the first one to straight pipe one of those things?
I feel like Kyle is the human version of a straight pipe G35. You know what I mean?
Most annoying thing on the planet.
Yeah. And we tune these cars daily at Dynasty. And I'm not trying to crap on anybody, but every time like a straight pipe Z car comes in for a tune, I'm very honest with the owner about how terrible it is on my eardrums. And they always just laugh it up. They're like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, huh. Okay.
Hey, just a heads up real quick. I'm at 2% on my computer. So if I disappear, it was great seeing you guys.
Thanks
Big
for being here,
Josh.
buddy.
And also, Josh will have better audio and video next week because Rye finally sent him his camera and mic.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, actually, I don't either, honestly.
I don't believe it.
But yes, it should
I'm
be.
still waiting for stickers.
Those are in there too.
You did not put stickers in the box. There's no way you did.
No, I didn't.
I don't know how annoying it's going to be, though.
T-shirts.
The car. I hope the car, like a Q50 with a Helmholtz resonated axle back, sounds pretty good. They do sound good. A straight piped anything Nissan sounds
Awful.
ugh.
It sounds like a middle schooler trying to learn how to play the trombone.
So can you not just put those GTR motors in something like that?
You can. The GTR engine's pretty compact. Obviously dual overhead cam, but the manifolds and the turbos hug the engine pretty tight. People were taking the VR30 out of the Q50 and putting them in the 350Zs. So they fit. I mean, you could drop them right in. The VR38, I don't know how the physics of that, but
like what's the engine that in the GTRs that people are, putting 2,200 horsepower on?
That's a VR38, 3.8 liter twin turbo.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised those aren't smashed in all that stuff.
They're the VR38 itself is a wild engine, and it doesn't take much to make a lot of power. Just pistons, rods, stock crank, cams, and valve train. You can make 13, 14, 1,500 horse pretty easily.
Let me see that interior pic, bro.
Yeah, the interior is actually not bad. I like the interior. It's modernish, digital dashes. I don't like the yellow stitching.
Is that an iPad?
Yeah, I mean, but every car has an iPad now. My beef with this thing is like it just looks so. I can see the hints that you're talking about, like with all the previous generations, but it just looks so 350, 370. And how long has the 350 370Z been produced? For a damn ever. When did 350Z come out initially?
2003.
And it's been produced up until
03 to 08 was 350. 09 to 2020 has been the 370.
Dude, that's insane for modern times for a car to be that produced.
It is
that
insane, but I will challenge you. Get into a 2018 Nismo 370Z, go for a drive in it, and tell me that it's not an enjoyable car to drive.
I won't argue that. I will just say that I feel like the styling could have been a more aggressive departure from their past. That's all I'm getting at.
Here, do me a favor. Google 350Z original prototype right now and tell me what it looks like. Because if you look at any prototype that's been dropped, especially by Nissan, and it is just disgusting what some of these look like. The 350Z prototype originally is terrible. I mean, yeah, put that on the screen.
Goo. Okay, hold on.
So for anybody listening to the podcast on iTunes or Podbean or whatever, if you have a chance, look at the original 350Z prototype. This car looks terrible. I mean, it is so ugly, dude. It is so ugly. So the question becomes, how far of a stretch will the new 400Z be from the original prototype?
I want to say so many things, but I feel like we would get cancel culture because they're so offensive.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's so ugly.
Hi guys. Look up.
It's so bad. It looks like I can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Porsche 928.
The 928 was a flop at the time.
The Ferris Bueller one.
No, that wasn't Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller had a Ferrari.
No, not Ferris Bueller. What's that Tom Cruise one? Risky Business.
Was it the 928? The 924 was a pile of trash.
Same deal. Look at a 2001 GTR concept. Look at that. I mean, every Nissan concept you can look at, any Nissan prototype you can look at, the end result came out looking way, way better than the prototype.
Yeah, the 2001 GTR concept definitely looks like a prop movie car from like RoboCop or Demolition Man.
Yeah. All right, my computer's at 0%, so it's gonna die. And I'm gonna say later by saying people need to take inspiration from the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, fair.
Car based on that.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Josh, thank you for joining us, sir.
He's out.
Keep going.
So yeah, there's the GTR concept, and it does look like, what's that scoop in it? Why does it have a scoop?
I don't know. It's
in the
so
hood.
bad though. And that's the thing. You gotta. I keep going back to.
It has that strip of glass down the middle of it. Like, what is that? That was on the Nissan Altima.
I don't know.
That's
I was never wealthy enough to drive an Altima like you.
An Altima.
But like every time, the only prototype I've seen that fell flat, I think, is the Mark V Supra. Because the first time I saw that thing back out of that trailer, I was, oh my God, I thought it was the best looking sports car in 20 years. And then it came out and it was not what it was supposed to be.
Then you look at the front.
And I'm like, what the hell happened? But
the back of the new Supra looks amazing. The front looks. But the front can be fixed with a body kit, I feel like.
I would buy the new Supra tomorrow if I get rid of some stuff. I think the new Supra is an awesome car. I think with the right body accents, the right wheels. I follow somebody on Instagram. What is her Instagram? Jacksness, I think, is her Instagram. Her and her husband have like matching Supras, and she has a 2020 LE Supra, and she posted a picture of it, and they make a Mark IV Supra like replica wing for the car. Yeah. And it completely changes the attitude of the car. I mean, I hate this for you, but like, look at that.
I've seen that. Yeah.
It just changes the attitude of the car. I'm not trying to spam her.
I've seen another one that looks like the Mark IV TRD wing, which is different than the traditional one.
Yeah. The square joint.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the Mark V is an awesome car. I would love to own one, and I think they're dope. I'd have to sell a bunch of stuff to get it though.
I just love all the guys who are like, yeah, but it's a BMW. Like that's a bad thing. Like BMW builds terrible cars.
Yeah, I can't believe BMW's won X amount of races in their career, and they have a storied history of race winning technology.
Yeah, suck it, nerds.
But we are at an hour on the podcast, which normally means Rye hangs up on me.
It's true.
Does anyone have any closing questions for us before we end this podcast?
Daryl would like us to know that it was the Maxima that had the stupid glass strip. But that's the way it works with manufacturers. They build their flagship cars, and then there's a trickle-down effect. At Lexus LFA to LC500, for example.
Yeah, LC500 is sick.
It is a dope-ass car. It's completely underrated. I really want one very badly. Anyway.
Any questions, boys? We got a couple seconds here left. Nope, no one has any questions.
That's
Great.
what I thought. Head over to clapdot.com/store. Pick up some merch. There's like 6 or 7 shirts left on there. We are working on some new designs. I have some
We
new
say that every week.
Yeah, we do, but that's just who we are as people. I am going to be cutting some new vinyl stickers, and I will be having those uploaded onto the store this week. Yo, shout out to James, our boy James, out there on Rocky Mountain Race Week. James Tall over there on Cletus' channel. He is mixing it up in the limited street competition. Somebody sent me, a couple of people have sent me multiple pictures of him wearing our stuff in their video. So always appreciate the homie supporting. I will be at Streetcar Takeover, Rockingham, North Carolina on October 3rd. I most likely will not be there October 2nd just for the roll racing thing, but myself and Killface behind me will be out there trying to bury Logan's ET record to establish dominance as the fastest and quickest car on this channel.
Bummer, dude. It's not going to happen.
It may not.
It's
Anyway.
probably not going to happen.
That's all we got. Clapped Out Podcast. We're out. Peace.
Bye. Bye.